press conference, just to let you know, we have a guest, Miss Frances Johnson. She is celebrating her 100th birthday with us today. So if she comes in, we are going to wish her an early happy birthday a couple days. It's actually on January 29th. I will say here, I was able to be a part of a great ceremony this past weekend. The Emanuel family obviously having significant deep roots in this community since its Spanish colonial period. Pat Emanuel, if those of you who know him, the sort of the patriarch of the family, an attorney for a number of years, just turned 100 over the weekend. Also, he was had a fairly significant and notified Army career, and they were there at Veterans Park celebrating some of what he had done during the Battle of the Bulge, other things in Europe. So it was quite a celebration. We've got a number of people turning 100, so that's a great thing in this community, and a real chance to celebrate some of the things that they accomplished. Like I said, it was amazing to see some of the war accomplishments. Mr. Emanuel, I'd certainly known him as an attorney here in town. He and my grandfather both joined the bar on the same day in the same ceremony. I have pictures of them taking their oath next to each other. I believe it was in a PNJ picture, but from way back in the late 40s. But anyways, so if she comes in, we will stop and do that. I know we missed last week with Martin Luther King holiday. It was a great day and a great parade, but we certainly would like to talk about a couple of things that have gone on. We obviously had also that day, I will say, in addition to the prayer breakfast and the Living the Dream, which we're still working to get out some recognition. There were great 8 citizens of our community who were recognized for things that they were doing to continue that dream, and it was a great event on Sunday night. But I will tell you that the Jack and Jill mothers, and I've worked with Tia Robbins and a couple other people I know are working on it. They did a great program, a children's program that was held that morning in the plaza with the Martin Luther King's bust. And despite very cool temperatures, there were a number of kids there. They enjoyed it. I think they stuck around for the parade. There were many donuts eaten. So, but I thought it was a really great job. Tiniati Broughton did a great job of talking to them about the historical importance of the day and what things had been like prior to the civil rights movement. So I thought it was a great event. So these are just some of the things that have been happening. Obviously tonight, I'm not going to get into it too much because I don't want to spoil what 300 other people have signed up for Civicon. But hopefully I'll see you there tonight. We'll be discussing sort of a slight look back on the past year, what we've done, and then really mainly a look forward to the things we want to do. I will say I tend to think the priorities fall into 3 things: public safety, economic opportunity, and improved amenities. I think those are 3 things that we're going to be focused on at City Hall and pushing forward in the next year, and we're going to talk about some of those things. So that's what we'll be talking about. Neighborhood cleanups. The first mayor's cleanup was this past Saturday in the downtown area, and we collected 51 tons of bulk waste, 146 tires, 856 gallons of paint. So it's a good thing that we got that off and kept that from going to the landfill. The next cleanup will be February 28th in the East Pensacola Heights area. So we hope everyone over there will be preparing and look forward to the end of February. The CRA workshop is February 3rd. This is we'll host the Community Redevelopment Agency will host a workshop next Monday, February 3rd at 5:30 at City Hall in Hegler Mason. The purpose of the workshop will be to review projects for funding for the Urban Core redevelopment funding. This is the things that came out of the improvement revenue bonds, and again, these will include things like the Bruce Beach project, the hashtag project, the Day Marina, and streetscape improvements to Jefferson Street. So again, these are some of the things that we will be, Jefferson and Main Street, these are some of the things that we will be looking at on Monday. So that meeting will be happening at 5:30 here at City Hall, and hopefully you'll have the opportunity to attend that meeting. Pensacola Supplier Diversity Exchange was February 4th. Small business owners and suppliers are invited to connect with Pensacola Supplier Diversity Exchange on Tuesday, February 4th, a free event featuring opportunities to market your goods and services directly with local buyers. The event will take place at 8:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. at at Sanders Beach, Corinne Jones Resource Center over there on South I Street. The event is hosted by the City of Pensacola, the Gulf Coast Minority Chamber of Commerce, and the Office of Supplier Diversity. So more information is available on our website, and you're welcome to check there. I will say that Brian, obviously, Weir has been here a couple times and talked to you all at this very press conference about it. That's one of the things we're trying to do. If you're out there and you have a minority business, please take the time to get engaged, because if we can get you signed up, there are opportunities at the city and the county, but we can't do it if you don't sign up, so we hope you will attend that workshop. Walk-in hours have changed for the City of Pensacola for our inspections department. I really think this is a good move by Jonathan. I think part of the problem was we were having a tough time getting work off the desk because we had so many people come in. We want to be focused on the people who come in when they come in, but we need some hours that we can get the work done and get it out so we can be ready for the next day. And I think it'll also make us better able to handle. Now the good news is we're back to fully automated, so we're not as bad as we were right before Christmas when we were really taking walk-ins for almost every single thing during when we were down with computers. But the City of Pensacola's inspection service, engineering services are changing walk-in for permitting in order to provide better customer service, walk-in customers, and allow staff to adequately take time for online permits. The change is going to affect Monday, February 3rd, with the hours as follows. Inspection services and engineering services will be 7:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. That is the walk-in hours, 7:30 to 2:30 Monday through Friday. Planning services will be 8 to 2:30 Monday through Friday. So again, those will be the time for walk-ins, and we hope you'll be there. There is a new playground for Miraflores Park. Parks and Recreation has installed another new playground at Miraflores Park. The new playground features 2 slides, climbing features, sensory elements, and a sunshade. Miraflores Park is located at 1601 East LaRua, better known as that park right next to where you go down and go under the trestle. So again, I'm sure Andrew and I will be there climbing on those very soon, and we'll have an opening for that park as well. But again, just more things we're trying to do and continue to expand opportunities to utilize our parks, have our citizens use it, certainly our children, and have a great place to be able to feel free to come to. ECUA surveying, we did get a few calls on this. We're just giving a heads up. There are several neighborhoods around the airport that have been contacting us about what's happening because they see surveyors there. We're not doing anything. We're not selling or doing anything else. ECUA was conducting surveying of some of their water and sewer lines around the Pensacola International Airport. This is just routine surveying done to update their records. So if you see any crews in the area, we are not selling anything. We're not doing anything else. What we are doing is simply working to make sure that we get those lines on our map. And of course, this is good. It kind of finishes up some of the things I had to talk about. And we have our guest of the hour here, Ms. Johnson. Ms. Johnson, if we are very excited about your birthday here, if we could get you up to the front, we'll bring you over on this side, perhaps.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good to see you. You can come all over this one, and then we'll kind of turn around right in this space. Yeah, that'd be good. Back into that.
All right, that's good. That's good.
Put your feet up there.
Well, we are very excited to have you this morning. I understand that you were coming up on a big birthday.
The man talking to you. Oh, I ain't
No, I heard you. I'm right here. I'm sorry they put me behind this podium, but I hear you're coming up with a big birthday here.
Yeah.
All right.
On January the 29th, 1920.
Yes, ma'am. Well, I'm coming up on a big one, half your age, in February. So I was 1970. So it'll be fun. So I've worked all my life to get half your age. So I'm glad we're going to celebrate it together here in the next couple of weeks. Whereas Pensacola is proud of its rich, diverse, and multicultural history and recognizes the central role that our citizens play in that, Whereas, as the city, we are blessed and to be able to share and celebrate Miss Frances Johnson's 100th birthday. And whereas Mrs. Johnson has played an integral role in the life of her family and friends over the years, and her faith will be admired and replicated for many generations to follow. And whereas we share our pride in the memories of the rich, meaningful, and full life, and offer full appreciation for your contributions to the city of Florida, City of Pensacola, Florida. Now, therefore, I, Grover Robinson IV, Mayor of the City of Pensacola, do hereby honor Mrs. Frances Johnson on behalf of her 100th birthday, January 29, 2020, and encourage all of our citizens in the City of Pensacola in celebrating Ms. Johnson's legacy and lasting contributions to our city. In witness whereof, I hereto set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Pensacola to be affixed this 27th day of January 2020. Grover Robinson.
Ms. Johnson, here's your proclamation.
Okay, I'm wondering, can I just say one thing?
Yes.
You don't remember Miss Johnson, but when you first started being an attorney, you was her paid, she was the first black person in Pensacola to own a paint store.
That was my grandfather. That was my grandfather.
Oh, really?
Yes, yes, yes.
Remember, I'm only turning half her age.
Could have been my father. Could have been my father.
Attorney though.
No,
I'm the only one in the family that didn't go to law school.
I always see you and say, "Nigga, that was your lawyer."
No. It was my grandfather. My grandfather,
Grover Robinson Jr. He did have many. He was one of the he before the Civil Rights era had many African American clients. One of the few attorneys in town that would do that. So he did that. I know he did that. I see people all the time come up to me and tell me. Yeah, I don't, but I'm sure my grandfather did. I'm sure my grandfather did. They've already died off. We don't have as good of genes as you have, so we have not lived as long as you have lived. Yeah. But trust me, there was a lady I ran into campaigning one time who tried to tell me she remembered and she had a crush on me, and I was like, ma'am, I swear I didn't go to Pensacola High School in 1960. I was born in 1970, so it's happened to me before. But no. I wish they were still here. But we're glad you're here, Miss Johnson. Thank you. And this is a little flowers on behalf of the City of Pensacola. We'll get a picture if we look up. You want to look? Oh, you get another picture?
Yeah.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Absolutely.
Just squeeze in a little bit. All right. One, 2, 3. Big smile. All right. Okay. There you go. See you in the back. 1, 2, 3.
All right.
Okay, we're gonna let you guys go, but I'm gonna say one thing.
Yes, absolutely.
This is my sister from California.
We're glad to have you.
Wait, she's turning 80 on her birthday.
Wow. That's awesome. Double birthday. Well, I will say.
She'll be 100, she'll be 80.
I will say this much. My mother's birthday was on Valentine's Day. Mine was on February 11th. And I remember as a little child, you know, kind of your aunts and uncles would send in presents. So you kind of kept getting presents. And one day I showed up downstairs and there was this huge bike. And my mom and dad said I kept trying to think the bike was for me. It was actually my mother's bike. I thought it was my birthday. It was still my birthday. I still always get a present.
Yeah. See, that's what we doing to her on Friday.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. This is great. This is great. And you had something you wanted to say.
With my aunt here, I'm one of the oldest grandchild standing. Joanna Johnson Cook. From Long Beach, California.
They're all from California. We know we kind of laid back.
Sing happy birthday.
Oh, hey, we're going to sing happy birthday, Miss Johnson.
Yeah.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Miss Johnson. Happy birthday to you.
Well, thank you very much for your contributions to this community, and I think it's appropriate. We were just talking about an exchange. Well, no. We were talking about exchange for minority business owners, and thank you for your pioneering in that with your paint store. So we certainly appreciate that, and thank you very much, and we're glad to have you today.
Good to see you. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy birthday to you too.
All right, okay, thank you.
Well,
Let's go the rest of your day.
I did at least want to say one thing that happened, it didn't happen last week, and I did want to at least acknowledge the unfortunate passing. The surfing community last week lost two incredible people here. One, if you worked at the county and you know anybody at the beach and would see somebody out there, was probably Charlie Gonzalez. Charlie Gonzalez was an incredible leader at GIS and a very good friend of mine. And his passing was certainly saddened. I know all the people at the county family, and even us over here at the city. He was certainly a leader within GIS and a pioneer at that point of dealing with it. And of course, anybody who knows Charlie you could get him to work as long as the waves weren't good at Pensacola Beach. So he will be sorely missed. My thoughts and prayers go out to the entire Gonzalez family, especially Charlie's family. I also want to acknowledge the passing of General Ferguson, another individual you could still see late in his life in 70s and 80s out there surfing out of Pensacola Beach. General Ferguson obviously had a distinguished career within the military, came back, went into law, represented people like Emmett Smith, and had a law career here. Unfortunately, the general also a good friend of mine and families, and certainly a leader here in Pensacola. We certainly miss him as well, and my thoughts and prayers go out to his family as well. So I know those passings happened. We didn't last week. We didn't have a chance, but I did at least want to say something. And there is one other thing I do want to comment on, because I've seen a little bit out there in social media, and I know there's been a rash of things continue to happen with this gun violence. And I will say this much. The city of Pensacola is absolutely committed to solving and preventing and providing whatever force we need to. You probably saw we did send out the press release because we had intel before the MLK parade. I want to praise those police officers. We doubled the force of people who showed up at that parade. We actually did catch one of the people who tried to show up. We were able to catch and apprehend that individual. And my understanding was also on gallery night, we apprehended with the help of the federal agencies that we continue to work with. So we are on top of trying to do the best we can. Again, we are engaged in this challenge, and we will find a way to rise to it to address it. But again, we contacted. Some people are waking up to this. Y'all remember this from back in the summer. We went to this. There was a lot of calls that said we panicked on this. We have a zero tolerance for gun violence here in the city of Pensacola, and whatever it takes, if it's just one instance, we will be there working to address that issue. And I just want to thank our police officers out there that are working. They're doing a great job, and just want to take a moment to certainly commend them for the work they're doing, and we are trying to address it as much as possible, and we will continue to address it. And I'm happy to answer any questions. Yes, Dave?
Yeah, off subject a little bit. The Port of Pensacola reported a 91% increase in revenues from fiscal year 18 to 19. I was just wondering if you could talk a little bit about that and what's the future of the port and what the port means for the city.
Well, again, I've said we are a maritime city. We will have a port, Dave. It's something that is in our DNA, and I think we have the opportunity to be successful. I think the one thing that we had was we can't be everybody's port. We can't be what the Port of Mobile is. We can't be what the Port of Panama City is. But there's an opportunity for us to be a niche port. I think the study that came around right about the time we were doing the election, and it was from the beginning of it, it was the strategy that we advocated. There's an opportunity for us to be a niche port, and certainly in the MRO service, we see that happening. Other things that we can do, shipments that work for us, and our ability to tackle niche services and routes, we've been able to do that. And more than anything else, we simply gave Amy the ability to go and go find those solutions. She's got a couple of things looking right now that could utilize the port, and we're still working with a couple of those prospects. And if that happens, we can even continue to draw more jobs and be more successful. But the issue of what we want to do, we only want to draw jobs in companies that are compatible with what we are doing downtown. I certainly think the work that we've done with the New York Yacht Club is one of those compatible solutions. There are a number of others. The thing that we're doing right now, obviously, with offshore inland and Blue Origin is with the big boat out there has been very successful, and we hope to continue the work. I've talked over there with them. They want to do more work here. So again, finding that right niche for us is the right thing. We're soon going to be going back out to Triumph. They're going to be over here in our end, on the west end here in the near future. We're going to begin talking to them about looking at doing some dredging on berth 6 and setting up berth 6, because we think there will be more opportunities. We still continue to keep most of the northern end of the port open, and hopefully you can find additional opportunities for development. But again, that's not as much in transport. That's more in terms of research and other opportunities that we could tie in some maybe non-traditional port uses. So we continue to be open there. Some of the things that we have that are in the open there, like the Martin Marietta contract, we are looking at even if there's an opportunity to take those things and use other places, maybe an inland side port that we have with the Central Commerce Park, the Midtown Commerce Park. We talked with the county last week about that. So there are a number of things that we're working on. I think it's more just Amy and her staff being given a direction and being able to go execute that direction. And I think, we've been able to find that we can do things, and we can do things that are compatible with downtown.
Thank you.
We're about a year past the port study. Kind of talked a little bit about that, but the exciting parts of that involve the north end of the port and changes there. But to my knowledge, nothing has actually been done towards that yet. Right?
We are, and again, I don't think you're going to see us spend money if there's no reason to spend money. Much the same way that what's happened at the airport with ST. If we had people come in that can provide something, we will work at that point to put the infrastructure in. But we're not building speculative hangars, and we're not doing speculative work on that. We just don't have the wherewithal to do some of those things. But obviously, we have the property, and I know that Amy is marketing it and trying to find the next kind of tenant that would do that. I would love to do more research. Obviously, some of the challenges where we probably have to come back and do something. We might have to do something with Triumph, but we're ready to come back to Triumph and talk to the port. The port has great potential, great opportunity, but as a niche port. Again, I don't necessarily want to do the same things that Panama City does. Panama City has a great port, and they do certain things they do. I can do different things than what they do at the Port of Panama City, and we can be successful. They can be successful there. The Port of Pensacola can be successful. If we work like that in Northwest Florida, we will be successful in really showing all of the strengths that we have, and it'll really help the region, and that's what we hope to do. Yes.
The police started their training with Alexander last week. Can you speak a little about that?
What I heard is they did start, and that they've been very, very impressed, and I think they're learning a lot. You're going to take away a little of my thunder from tonight's presentation, but we increased training. We more than doubled training in the first time we had to have a budget in this administration. This is the kind of stuff that we're already doing, and we think it will pay dividends as we move forward. Very excited about what he brings. Again, if you've met Cedric, you immediately understand. He's done police chief. He's done roles on the inside of government that have been in charge of the police, but not actually in the force. So he's done a little bit of everything. Seen it, came up from a beat cop and dealing over in Leon County. So he's experienced sort of everything within the realm of policing, and he's well knowledgeable, well versed. And the amazing part is he's here from Pensacola, Florida. So he's returned home. He's very excited about being home, and he's very excited about serving his hometown. So I think it's been very good, and happy to see he's also serving his community as the ECUA rep for District 3. So at this point, that's what I know about it. And I just hear that we're excited and learning.
How long will that go on?
I mean, each phase could be different, but he's not just teaching one thing, and eventually we'd like him to kind of try to help pull together some ideas for that citizens group that we could work with, and so we're going to keep working on that. So I mean, I don't have a definitive date of when I think he'll be done, but it wouldn't surprise me if he's still working under contract 6 months from now, not on the same thing the entire 6 months, but we probably will have different things to engage with him on over that period. So again, there are a lot of things we were looking at when we first talked to him. Part of it was training, part of it was looking at how we interact with citizens. So all of that, I think he's going to help us.
Can you speak a little about that committee and how you see it functioning, how you see Alexander's relationship with it? And
At this point, Jeremy, I think it's going to happen, and that's what we're going to task. And one of the things we talked with him about, but I don't have anything at this particular time. And I think he's focused right now on doing training with the police force. And I think as that comes forward, he'll move into that. But he and I have not had any chance to really just sit down and discuss that, other than that was one of the things that Chief Leiter and I sat down with him when we started. We said that's one of the things we wanted to get to. Yes?
Any new developments around the skate park and the status, timeline, et cetera?
We're going to talk a little bit about the skate park is tied in with Hollis T. Williams. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. Obviously, I think that's going to be a huge project, not only because of the skate park, but really what it means, what the park itself means to dealing with some stormwater issues that we have. So we will be talking about that. What I do know is I think the county went back out for solicitation. The city got everything that we needed to do in that solicitation to make sure they got the right person, and then they're going to go pick the person to do the plan. As soon as the plan comes back, the first shovel money that comes out for construction is going to be for the skate park. I hate that it's taken this long. There was a little challenge with some of the getting everything in the scope of work in the fall, and we've worked through that with the county, and we've made sure that everything's in there, and we're ready to go. So, I stay on Matt Posner about two things. I usually call him about every other week and ask, where are we with the Hollis T. Williams and where are we with Carpenter's Creek? Because we would love to get both of those things started. If you remember, in December when we had the city county meeting, we made it, and we told the county our priority is going to be not just the development of a plan for those two, but really the execution of construction for those two. Those are probably the two most important things that we would like to see happen. And we think there's a great opportunity to leverage restore money with NERDA money for stormwater in both of those projects. So again, we're ready to get started. We just we can't get there fast enough. Yes.
I understand the city is starting this a stormwater project on 12th and Cross. Some letters went out to some residents, and
Yes. Derek. Okay.
My question is, from what I've been able to find out about, it's just going to expand the existing stormwater park.
Correct.
I guess, was there a thought ever to make that pond like some of the others the city has done in recent years, with a sidewalk path around it and kind of more amenities?
And again, I don't know the particulars on that one, but I'll talk. Derek, if you have anything on that, because the question was, do we have any plans to do anything like some of the wet ponds?
That project is a hazard mitigation grant program through the Department of Emergency Management for repetitive flooding. So there's 4 houses actually there that the city purchased through state funds that we're going to expand the pond into. Unfortunately, the pond is meant to be deep and dry, not wet like the ponds we have downtown, to maximize the amount of water that goes in them and thus minimize the flooding for that entire neighborhood. So there are going to be some improvements with landscape and things such as that, the fencing, but no, it's not going to be the level that we're used to seeing in the downtown wet ponds.
Is that the one where you're expanding it across the street and making it a larger pond, closing the street off the house on the north side and all that?
Right, yeah, that's it, right there across Fisher.
Yeah. Right.
Is that just because it's going to be a dry pond? Is that why you can't?
Yes, and the pond is deep. The pond is probably 25 feet deep, and it's been that way for decades. It's just not big enough to attenuate enough stormwater to prevent the flooding in the neighborhood. So this is going to help dramatically with that situation. And as you know, 12th Avenue floods terribly up and down through that area when we have significant rainfall events, and this is going to help abate that. So,
I think it's much in like the line of the stormwater we have at the marketplace where. And we're talking about doing something around that, but still, that one is going to have some, even if we do a sidewalk, we're going to have fencing. I mean, it is a deep, dry pond that, and again, I remember, one of those rain events right after Ivan, and even the 2014 flood event, I mean, that was all the way filled. So it would not be something that would be a little bit more concerning from us to bring people to the venue because of the challenge in a dramatic rain event that we could have a fairly significant deep pond at that point. All right, any further questions? Well, thank you very much. Hopefully I'll see you tonight at Civicon, and look forward to seeing you there. Thanks.